Hello? Am I too loud right now? Hello, 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 hello. I'll leave it. I'll leave it like this. Okay. Hello, nobody. Hello, nobody. I would say hello, everybody, but I'm not sure if I'm ever going to show this to anyone. So, a matter of minutes ago, I just finished editing the Shadow of the Colossus video. The Shadow of the Colossus 2018 review. And, this is basically the hardest thing I have ever done in my life. But it's pretty much over. I edited the video over the course of 2 nights. I would guess it took me about 8 hours total. Because, look, making videos is a ton of work. I don't know how some people do it really fast. Even if you do it really fast, it's still a lot of work. To put out 1 video a week is crazy. That's like every day. To put out, I mean, depending on the length of the video, of course, and the extensiveness of the editing, anyway. Never underestimate how much work it takes to make even simple videos. That's the reason that I couldn't keep doing it. For years, that's the reason I had to stop, because I was spending 2 months at a time to make videos that were only 6 to 8 minutes long. It's true. I was such a perfectionist, and they didn't even come out perfect. I always made little decisions in those videos I regretted, like that comment I made in the Metal Gear Solid 1 review. I said something about sewing needles that I thought was like, why did I write that? But that's the reason I had to stop, because I couldn't keep up with how much work it was, especially I couldn't fit it in. I had no time for it when my life was changing, you know? I'm a young boy. I was only like 15 at the time. And I always wanted to come back, but then I overthought it and it got too stressful, and then Windows pulled down Movie Maker, so when I got my new computer I couldn't install Movie Maker. I didn't know where to turn to, what to do. And I always thought when I finally made my next video that the only way I'll ever be able to do it is by making it easier on myself. That was the plan. The plan was, it's just going to be some narration with some gameplay footage playing over top. I'm just going to have my script and read it, and it's going to be just a video of the game being played a little bit. And what I did not expect while making the Shadow of the Colossus video is that my inner perfectionist would kick back in, and I would put quite a bit more editing effort into it than just that. So, thankfully it only took me 2 nights, because I really, I don't know, what's the phrase, crunched it. Once I got started, I finally felt eager to get it done. But I did not anticipate that it would end up being this heavily edited. That I would include so many different shots and songs and details in it. It's not that much. It's a simple video, thankfully. That's what it needs to be. if I did what I used to do, then, well, I'd be here drawing MS Paint images for months, and it would never be done. Because, well, the way I used to work was unsustainable, and my old computer sucked. It was too slow to really do anything. Movie Maker kept crashing. I kept losing stuff. I couldn't work on that old computer anymore. Things are a little better now. In some ways, thankfully. Well, this is it. Shadow of the Colossus review is done. It wasn't the first one I was planning to make. The first one I was planning was a different game that I'll get to soon, I believe. And I mean, this is great for me. I've thought about it for a long time. The video is so not perfect, and it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be done. It's not my best writing work, my best narration work, or editing work, and it's not supposed to be any of that. It's just supposed to exist, finally. I feel like the narration side of it is the part that I would really like to have improved. And for my next video, I'm going to put more effort into that. The problem was that I was so nervous when I recorded it. I just wanted to do it, get it out of the way, not have to do it anymore, and I did. My voice wavered a little bit. I should have done more takes. You might be able to hear me stammering or breathing too much. I try to cut out the breathing, the video sounds better that way. Another part of this video is that I wrote it a long time ago. I played Shadow of the Colossus by now a long time ago, and I feel like what I wrote is kind of a bad take. A little bit. I'm not going back on it. I'm not going back on my word. My official word that I still stand by is this game was disappointing to me. It was just weird, frustrating, annoying, boring even. It was okay. Pretty cool, pretty quirky, pretty fun. But you know, for me it was overhyped. I didn't see what other people saw in it on my first play. I think it's probably something that would be a lot better on the second time around now that I know everything I have to do, because that was the problem. I didn't know what to do. It didn't tell me how to use my sword properly. It didn't tell me what I can and can't climb, like at the beginning of the game when you have to climb those vines. I didn't even see the vines. I didn't think of them. I thought they were just part of the nature. The first three Colossi, I didn't even know I could charge my sword. That was a problem. I'm used to playing games that are logical, that have consistency, and Shadow of the Colossus expects you to find a lot of things based on no information, and that I have a problem with. I like games that make sense in the way you play them, like Dark Souls, what else? Turn-based RPGs, platformers. What I'm not a huge fan of is, well, I guess there's a place for games that are trying to emulate real life by showing you new, unexpected things and trying to make you figure them out based on real-world logic. But I've played all three of these Team Eco games by now. Eco, Shadow of the Colossus, and The Last Guardian, and they're all kind of the same. They just don't... Eco's my favorite, but and they're all decent, especially Eco. But all three of them just have moments that don't make sense. Like, oh, what, I'm supposed to know to push this barrel I've never seen before over to this spot so that the monster will want to pick it up and then it'll fall asleep? Okay, I didn't know that. I just made that up. That's not in any of the games, but it sounds like something that could be in them. They just expect you to find things out based on no information, and I get impatient with that gameplay design philosophy. There were moments in The Last Guardian that had me really stuck, like when you fall in the water pit. You fall in the water pit and you're trying to command Trico to swoop its tail down or pick you up, and there are barrels for you to push, but you don't know exactly what the right process is, and you're just wondering, what do the game designers have in mind? So, in my opinion, from worst to best, it goes Shadow of the Colossus, The Last Guardian, and then Eco. Eco's really, really, really good. I just don't like Eco's, like, final boss and ending area. The ending itself is fine, but in the story, but the ending part of the gameplay, the ending stage, as if you will, bugged me a little bit. And I'll cover that game another time. For sure. But look, I think I've learned a lot about Shadow of the Colossus since I wrote this video. I've learned that it actually has more details than I thought, and its soundtrack is better than I noticed while playing, and has an interesting design history, development history, has an interesting community, has interesting Easter eggs. So, yeah, a lot of love was put into its design, I can tell. I just didn't like playing it, and I can't lie about that. I cannot lie. If only the combat made more sense, it weren't such a weird puzzle experience. And now that I understand it better, I believe it would probably be better on a second playthrough, so I'll play the PS2 version, which I still haven't done, and I'll have opinions on that. I may be able to see it from a new perspective. I think this game's alright. I'm very happy if people say that they really love it, but I'm not going to call it one of the best games of all time like some people do. I don't see that. I see that the community loves it, and the developers loved it, and the artists especially loved it, but the level design, what do I say? I showed it in the video. What you have to do just isn't actually that fun. All this stuff about luring the Colossus to an oddly specific place and the really bad horse controls getting in your way. At least it's a short game, so it didn't test my patience too much. But yeah, I'm not mad at the game or anything. I think it's okay. It's flawed. I really wish I could have had a better time with it. I don't think it's my fault, because I did beat it. I did get good at it eventually. I really wanted to like it. I found things to like about it. I listened to its music. Great music. I like the way the Colossi look. I didn't care much for the story or the overworld. I know some people really like that visual storytelling. I like some things that have visual storytelling, like Samurai Jack and Metroid Prime. But I guess in a fantasy game, I would rather have a game where the story makes sense, at least to an extent that I know what's happening. none of the 3 Team Eco games had a story that gripped me, with the possible exception of Eco, because I thought the girl character was so cool. The villain in Eco, all the villains, all the enemies in Eco are kind of garbage, generic. But I really liked the relationship dynamic between the girl and the main character boy. And that was about it. Well, the Shadow of the Colossus 2018 video is finally done. It's crazy. And I got a lot more that I'm capable of doing, that I hope and plan to do for the sake of it, because I can. And like I said, I intend to make the editing process easier on myself, because I'm not trained in this beyond my own videos that I've already made public. I don't totally understand the editing software I use. It's very complicated. You know, video making is a very complicated process with all these steps, and it's technical. So I'm really very amateur at this, and I'm only going to be able to do it consistently if the editing is easier. So what I used to do is make all these different images and slides and frames in MS Paint, and I had all these visual jokes, and it was fine, but MS Paint is a horrible, outdated program that is not actually a good image editor, and my computer at the time was really laggy. By using Paint and using that computer, I was having a really hard time. And I was also having a hard time because I felt the need to have all these different frames and shots in just one span of 30 seconds. Like every sentence I said had to have a new shot, you know? I guess it's good that I had an eye for cinematography at that time, but I'm increasing the work on my shoulders so much by doing that. I know it's fast. I'm sorry, but I know it's faster if I just use footage from the game and let that play while I'm talking, and that is absolutely the only way I would ever be able to complete this process multiple times consistently on a regular basis. At least until I either know someone else who will edit my videos for me, or until I get much better at it and I feel more confident and comfortable. But I want these videos to be quick. I really do. I'm inspired by Your Movie Sucks' quickie videos. That's how I view these. That's how I view this. And that's all he does. That's all I need to do to make it great. Just let you see the game while I give my thoughts. My thoughts are what matter much more. I made the last second decision to draw my character at the end of the video in the style of Wander from Shadow of the Colossus. I didn't intend to do that. I used to do it. I thought that would be another thing I would quit. But I guess I was just inspired. Why not? I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing any of the things I used to do. We'll see. I'm going to attempt to be self-improving. But realistically, the way I used to do it was too hard. There's a reason I would spend like every day editing those videos, and it would take me over a month. Pretty crazy for a 14-year-old, 15-year-old boy to try to take upon himself. But I used to be really OCD, and I was also, I don't know what's the phrase, a high achiever. I was trying to work really hard for the sake of it, and there was value to that. I learned so much during that time in my life. And what I learned is, this is crazy, what am I trying to do? That's what I learned. I was learning that I was spending I spent about 5 hours playing Metroid, and I spent like 50 hours making a video about it. So, maybe you understand. No more of that. I want the videos to be good, of course I do, but they can't be made if I keep doing that. They can't be made if it's going to be 50 to 60. If it's going to be weeks to make them each. They're just video games, you know? Why does talking about the video games have to be harder than playing the video games? Doesn't make any sense. All I want to do is have fun, analyze them, get my word out there, express myself, have an outlet. That's it. And that's what I get today with Shadow of the Colossus. What do you call this that I'm doing right now? Do you call this a podcast? An update video? I don't want to call it an update video, because I hate update videos. I used to make some of those, but then I started making like more update videos than real videos, and you know, that's not good content. No one actually wants to see that. It's kind of depressing, actually. So I learned to stop doing that. But then as the years went by, I got into watching podcasts, and wow, it turns out it's actually surprisingly interesting to hear people talk who are good at talking. And you know, it's even good for the person making the podcast, even if no one is listening to it, even if they have a very small audience. It's just something to do with thoughts that would otherwise go wasted. Although not every thought needs to be written down, there is that. But what I'm saying right now are important thoughts that I've had for a long time. And I'm genuinely looking forward to improving. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see how my future self wants to proceed. Maybe I'll do more off-the-cuff recordings such as this. If you can consider it a podcast, I don't know. But I have a certain friend who's gotten into YouTube, and he and I have great conversations, and I occasionally think Wow, I wish we were recording this. Just to have it later, just to listen back to it. Or even to show it to someone else. That's what a podcast is for. Maybe we would be good at that kind of thing. I'm not really suggesting it. It's just, I don't even want to do it per se, but just a thought I had. Just like this video on Shadow of the Colossus is just a long overdue collection of thoughts that I had about a game that I played 15 months ago. 15 months ago, 15 months later, I make a video about it, and it comes out. And well, here I am. If this recording is awkward, I don't care. I don't feel awkward. I hope you don't feel awkward, but all I'm doing is talking alone with my headset. And that's all I wanted to do. So I'll consider it a success. Now that my video is done, I'm glad that I did it so fast. I will now endeavor to do more at this same speed. And I have lots planned. But gonna take a break for the rest of the day. I have much else that I can be doing. So I'm gonna have some fun. I'll see you guys for the future. Big plans for the future.